3.2 Pledge of Allegiance. Trustee Jenkins, would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Sounds good. Thank you.
To the flag of the United
States of America,
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Trustee Jenkins. 3.3, Madam Board Secretary, roll call, please.
Student Trustee Hogan,
Yes.
Student Trustee Cooper,
Here.
Trustee Withrow,
Here.
Trustee Jenkins,
Here.
Trustee Handy,
Here.
Trustee Gonzalez Ewan. Is Trustee Ewan on? Don't see him on. Trustee Delphine Polk,
Here.
Trustee Napoli Bellarice.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. 3.4, affirmation of the statement of cooperation. As you know, the Peralta Board has adopted a statement of cooperation that codifies our commitment to set the bar for excellence in governance in community college leadership and to lead by example for our Peralta colleges. The full statement of cooperation is attached to the agenda, but in summary, we have committed to 3 things. Number 1, to build trust and seek to understand each other. Number 2, to be prepared and follow good governance and ethical protocols and model the behavior we want others to exhibit. It is number 3. Let's go to 3.5, report of action taken in closed session. Madam VP,
I don't believe we have any actions to read out at this time.
moving on. Let's go to 3.6, approval of the agenda. May I have a motion? Thank you, Trustee Withrow. Thank you, Trustee Jenkins.
I have a comment.
Yes, yes.
So given that we have a large number of individuals who'd like to make public comments, I'd like to move the public comments agenda item 3.11, public communication, to the end of the agenda, just before items 12.1, board trustees report. As trustees, our primary responsibility is to address the business of the district. So unless there are public comments on specific agenda items, all general comments could be at the conclusion of the business part of the agenda. This is also what the Board of Governors has adopted as well. And I think that they make a very good point. Business of the system first, and hold public comments or public forum at the end of the agenda after all the reports, so that we don't have our vendors or other people who are there to present waiting for sometimes 1 to 2 hours. And sometimes we have to cut items short. So I just wanted to bring that up.
I hear you, Trustee Handy, and I absolutely understand. And you're right, the Board of Governors does actually do that at the very end. I do believe that it is also part of our responsibility to ensure that we hear public communication. And I believe today we do not have any vendors that are going to be presenting. So Natasha, our legal counsel, do you want to opine? Is there a particular process? Must we vote on this? Do tell me how to move forward.
Sure, President Reese. The board does have the ability and the discretion to reorder items in the agenda if you feel it advantageous for how you want to manage the meeting. It would typically be an issue at the board president's discretion in terms of just reordering. If you chose to take it up as a motion and a vote, you could. I don't see, and maybe I'm just not aware, but I actually only see 6 hands raised. So I don't know that you have a significant number of public comments for tonight's board meeting.
I asked before and there were 26.
Oh, I apologize.
Yeah, that was earlier on. There may be more now.
Okay. I don't know if there are 5, 6, or if there are more. However, very quickly.
No, I'm sorry, Cindy, I said 26.
Right. I don't know if they're 5, 6, or 26. I'm not sure, but very quickly, both Vice President Delphine Polk and myself just looked at each other and kind of chatted, and we believe our discretion, if it is our discretion, is to have public communication in the place in the agenda where it normally is. And like I said, I don't know if they're 5, 6, or 26. I have no idea. So let us move on to the returning to roll call. Is that where we were for the approval of the?
Correct. Approval of the agenda.
Okay, okay.
Student trustee Hogan,
Yes.
student trustee Cooper,
Yes.
trustee Withrow. Trustee Withrow,
Yes.
trustee Jenkins,
Yes.
trustee Handy,
Yes.
trustee Gonzalez Yuan.
I'll say yes, and I'll also, if I can, just point of information, I believe trustee Handy, if you wanted to make that as a motion and get a second, then, you could make the motion and see what happened in this situation. So I think that is an option. I personally would oppose it, but I believe you could do that. And so I want to just point that out, but I will vote yes on the agenda. Thank you.
Trustee Delphine Polk,
Yes.
trustee Napoli Bellarice.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. Thank you.
I would like to have that come back for a discussion at another time. I think it is something that we all should weigh in, especially it being a political year. And I know that some people are pressured to make decisions but I am not asking that we cut the comments. I'm asking that the comments be at the end so that our business meetings are more efficient, not to cut them off.
Agreed. Good point. Okay, thank you. And my apologies. Maybe we should have actually voted on that rather than doing what we had done. Okay. Let us move on to 3.7, approval of the minutes. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, trustee Withrow.
Second.
Thank you, trustee Jenkins. Discussion on that? Roll call, please.
Student trustee Hogan,
Yes.
student trustee Cooper,
Yes.
trustee Withrow,
Yes.
trustee Jenkins,
Yes.
trustee Handy,
Yes.
trustee Gonzalez Yuan,
Yes.
trustee Delphine Polk,
Yes.
trustee Napoli Bellarice.
Yes,
Motion passes.
thank you. We're trying to figure out the echo here. Okay, moving on. Let's move on to 3.8. You will not move on. We're rectifying the audio at the moment.
Madam President, I believe it might be that trustee Withrow is not muted.
Yes. Okay. Problem solved. 3.8, Associated Student Government Reports. Student leaders, are you in the virtual room? We'd love to hear.
Yes.
Your voices.
BCC is BCC President Harry. I'm
Hi,
present.
Harry.
Hello. May I go ahead?
Yes, please.
Okay. Good evening, members of the board, chancellor, and guests. So at BCC tomorrow at 12:15 p.m., the API Club will be hosting a success stories event where speakers in the biomedical field, data analytics, and nursing will be inspiring and educating students about their career journey. And there'll also be a Q&A session for students to ask questions. The event will be held over Zoom, and the link can be found on the BCC Instagram. And on May 26th at 12:15 p.m., there'll be a food festival in the atrium at BCC. All the food will be funded by the ACE-BCC Council. The festival will also be hosted again by the API Club. It'll be featuring all sorts of dishes from sushi to Korean barbecue. There'll also be diverse options for students with specific dietary needs. So please, everyone do come. There will be food for everyone there. And finally, the food pantry at BCC every second and fourth Thursdays of the month have been very impactful throughout the BCC community. So many students, including myself, are very grateful for the consistent support and economic ease the free food has given us this semester. There will be free food this Thursday at 12 p.m. So please do come. There's always enough for everyone. And that concludes my report. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Harry. Do we have any more speakers, student speakers? Somebody let me know. Sasha?
No, I don't see. They should be in the room if they not.
And these, you'll see
Oh,
there.
below?
are-
Hold on, let me move. There we go. Well, you can go ahead and.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Good evening, Board of Trustees, Chancellor Jackson. This is going to be my last update, as I also have here the newly elected Madam President Amola. She's here today. I just have a few updates. First and foremost, on the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th finals week, ASLC will be providing coffee and pastries to students during finals week. Secondly, every ASLC member got into a top tier university as a transfer from UC Berkeley, UCLA, Harvard, and Yale, and Cornell University. Congratulations to all ASLC members for the class of 2022. I'm very proud of each and every one of them. Laney College is it's an institution worthy of recognition. And to them, our educators, to the board, to Chancellor Jackson, thank you. Thank you for providing this opportunity for each and every student across the Bay Area.
Fabulous. Thank you. Go out. I'm sorry.
We have Karen
Karen
Torres.
Okay.
Hello, Board of Trustees. My name is Karen Torres. I'm here on behalf of the College of Alameda. I would like to start with that prior we had our first Ramadan celebration of the year, and we're hoping and we're excited to have many more coming. We also on May 13th, we're having a virtual funny, crazy comedy show, and that is for our Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. And we also are going to have a speaker. Her name is Juju Wong, and she will be talking about major decisions and multi-pathways, navigating familiar and cultural expectations for academic and career goals for AAPI students. Also, Acceso will be hosting their last workshop for financial literacy with financial coach Gavina, and that will be May 11th. And that's our updates. Oh, and then we are also working on our graduation gifts for our graduates this year. And we're excited to announce that we were able to use our COA Fab Lab that we have on campus to produce. So it's exciting to see us producing our own products and things for our students. So thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Do we have one more student speaker?
I do not see any other student speakers.
Thank you. Let's move on to 3.9, Peralta Classified Senate Report.
Can everybody hear me?
We can, Terrence.
Okay. Good evening, President Reese, Vice President Delphin Pope, members of the Board of Trustees, Chancellor Jackson, presidents, and guests. Tonight, we have two classified Senate campus reports. The first report comes from the Berkeley City College Classified Senate. The next classified professional Senate meeting will be this Wednesday, May 11th at 2:30. The leadership team is developing a summer retreat for classified professionals to connect with one another in a meaningful way to develop impactful relationships within each department. In collaboration with the Academic Senate and BCC administration, the Senate leadership team is in the process of planning an academic year-end celebration to honor BCC employees and all the hard work they have shown these last 2 years. The second report comes from the Laney College Classified Senate. On Wednesday, April 27th, Laney College classified professionals were provided with a continental breakfast from Senate President Hope and the Laney administrators. in honor of National Administrative Professional Day. President Lane wanted to show her appreciation to the Laney College classified professionals who do such a great job despite the unprecedented times. During the Laney College Classified Senate meeting on Thursday, April 28th, the Classified Senate made 2 appointments. Katrina Santo to the Public Information Officer position and Lorena Baldalzo to a Senate position. To the position of Senator. The meeting, however, was overshadowed by the news of Vice President of Student Services Ramon Knox's transition the day before, and the Senate could not answer the many whys. This vacancy of the Vice President of Student Services directly and indirectly impacts classified staff, especially in the Student Services Division at Laney College. As a result of VP Knox's transition, morale among Peralta employees is very low. Having a capable VPSS, interim or permanent, who can advocate on behalf of the division is urgent and vital for good governance at Laney College. The Classified Senate received many calls from throughout the district looking for answers as to how and why one of the few African American administrators at Laney College could be dismissed within 6 months. Many questions remain. What is the timeline for the next steps? Will the next VPSS be acting or interim? Recruitment for a candidate to reflect the students, staff, and community demographics of Laney College in line with Laney College's mission statement and the Classified Senate stated goal of DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. And lastly, transparency about the process. That is the end of the campus reports. Thank you very much for your continued support of the Peralta Classified Senate.
Thank you, Terrence. Let's go to 3.10, District Academic Senate Report.
Good evening, President Reese, members of the board, Chancellor Jackson, presidents, and guests. I will make my brief comments. I want to celebrate all of the graduates. I don't know if we have another board meeting before then, and look forward to seeing all of them going out into the various colleges and universities, as well as those who've gotten their certificates and degrees. I think that it's been challenging, particularly for this group who have been in those 2 years of being in complete COVID. And I hope that the colleges really celebrate their achievements. I hope that when they go on to other colleges and institutions, they can truly get the experience. I could imagine that at the four-year colleges and universities that they've also had a stilted experience, college experience. Somehow, I think these men and women and others will be marking this historically, because it would really be something for these individuals to have experienced this collective, whatever you want to call it, in terms of this pandemic. Want to thank the Chancellor for responding and writing to the resolution of the District Academic Senate. We hope to have a real discussion and dialogue when the Senate presidents meet with her and the VPIs. Look forward to that. We would like to have seen probably more coming from that, but we recognize the enormity of it all in terms of as we are trying to deal with these cuts that we've been experiencing in terms of FTF, and certainly our somewhat dismal downward trend of our FTDS. So look forward to that. I also look forward to the district-wide tenured celebration of our faculty. It's always great to have to provide recognition for our tenured faculty, and no doubt the chancellor is going to remind everybody when that is over at the district. I guess it's going to be out in the parking lot. So I look forward to acknowledging the difficulty and the struggle that goes through a tenure process, but hopefully a joyous one too. And I know that being on various committees, that it's also a very rewarding time period, but of course it's fairly stressful for the faculty members. So I hope we have a great celebration for them. I am a little bit concerned because I heard that there's going to be also a celebration of I don't know, 16 or so new emeritus status given out, and District Academic Senate is concerned that we weren't following the AP 7800, which basically required the district to ask each of the constituency groups, whether the board, the unions in terms of the classified unions, as well as the faculty union, as well as the classified senate and the district senate, for people to be on that committee and to work on coming up with these individuals. The fact that we haven't done that really puts a pall on what should be a fairly celebrational activity. So I hope that we can have some dialogue with the chancellor and with the vice chancellor to see how can we do this better. Finally, looking forward to this summer, there's going to be another curriculum institute. There's a lot of things going on statewide with the curriculum, and so folks will be attending that in July. And so, you know, we hope that as we get through the rest of this semester, that we try to really work on following our processes and procedures. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Donald, for that. Let's go to 3.11, public communication.
Okay, so just a quick note, we are maxed out as panelists. So I have moved over a handful of people. You've been moved over as panelists. I'm going to try to see if we can do what Jennifer suggested. Please bear in mind, I am doing this solo, so it's going to take a little bit of time for me to move people back and forth. This is the list I have in order for public comment. It is alphabetical, so we'll just start from the top. These are this is the first person I was able to move over. Clarissa Duthard, you are over as a panelist, you can speak. And you have 3 minutes.
Oh, great. Thank you. Good evening, members of the board. My name is Clarissa Douthard. I live in Oakland and I'm the executive director of Parent Voices Oakland. We're a parent-focused grassroots organization that develops community leadership to fight for affordable childcare and other life-affirming health and human services. We represent over 3,000 parents throughout Alameda County and have won services for families experiencing homelessness and have passed a historic countywide ballot initiative that will bring in $140 million annually to families for childcare, pediatric health care, and to support our childcare workers. Many of the childcare providers and early educators who are essential workers have been critical to our economy so that families can work, get their certification and ECE units at community colleges. Additionally, I see many families in my role juggling multiple jobs while attending classes. The families that I work with are primarily women of color, often low wage earning women who are fighting every day to do what society demands for their stability and their future. It's disheartening to see our democratic public infrastructure, which must be accessible in the most equitable way possible, to everyone, experience chronic disinvestment. After struggling to ensure that food is on the table, rent or mortgages are paid, and as utilities and gas continue to increase, it is an injustice to close the door on the educational goals of working families who are trying their hardest to move out of poverty. It is an injustice to close the door on the loving community and relationships that are built on campuses by cutting classes. Investment in our community, improving class offerings is what will bring enrollment up. I attended Laney and Berkeley City College myself as a young mother, and the incredibly committed faculty, my economics teachers, my accounting courses, political science are still experiences I draw upon in my work currently. And I want to make sure that my son, who will begin high school this fall, is able to participate in concurrent enrollment, and that there are teachers, there's faculty and courses available at Skyline High School through the Pathways program for him. I'm urging the PCTV to fulfill your mission by ensuring everyone, including Black single mothers like myself, can access programs with ease, and that there are plenty of opportunities and offerings for all of us. No classes being cut. All of the children who will be nurtured by childcare providers and early educators are young scholars who deserve the opportunity to learn no matter what their income, desperately need your leadership and vision during this difficult time. Please stop cutting classes, and please listen to students, faculty, and community when making decisions about class offerings. Thank you.
Okay, next will be Jennifer Shinosky.
Hi, good evening. Tonight, I want to clarify some of the concerns that have been voiced around these continued class cuts within the Peralta District. Faculty understand very well that a decreased enrollment may result in decreased class offerings. We understand the importance of encouraging our students to return to Peralta, and that those students are supported fully upon that return. We're here, we do these jobs, we continue to fight because we love our students, we love our colleges, and we love our community. Our concerns, our real concerns, are centered around the future of the Peralta Community College District. Our concerns are centered around poorly managed enrollment and confusing budgeting decisions. Our concerns are that we have stable funding from the state while we continue to cut our class offerings. We are not saving resources for another day. You all should look at the 5-year projections in your public published budget books that you all voted to approve last year and that you'll be asked to approve again this fall. We aren't putting our resources directly into student supports in any measurable ways that faculty can see. We aren't ensuring that our programs stay whole. We aren't supporting the faculty members who have worked for years and sacrificed mightily over the last couple of years to maintain educational opportunities for their students. Some see the activism that we participate in and the questions that we ask as pure criticism, and some blame us for the negative reviews that persist about Peralta. Some go so far as to say that public engagement, mobilization, organizing, and questions undermine the work of the trustees and the administration. That being here tonight will cause resignations and a paucity of future trustee candidates. Our questions and our activism are fundamental to democracy. We are an institution of higher learning. We should welcome engagement, inquiry, and shared participation. Tonight, you'll be hearing from community members who have been impacted by these cuts. Please listen to us and please listen to our community. Please engage with us and know that we're here because we care deeply about those we serve. Thank you.
Okay, next we have Becky Rhodes.
Hi, my name is Becky Rhodes. I'm the political director for the Alameda Labor Council, representing 140,000 workers in 140 affiliate unions. I am speaking on behalf of these working families. Many of these union members and their families rely on the Peralta Community College District for higher education. These are not students who would have any other access to higher education. Community colleges have a mission to provide accessible and affordable pathways into career training for diverse and disadvantaged communities so they can provide for themselves and for their families. By cutting programs just as students are looking to re-engage in their education, you're cutting off those opportunities. It's bad for our communities and it's bad for the economy. If you have the money to keep the doors open, there is no financial reason to close them. We're asking that you not cut classes and do what's best for working families and communities. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I have Regina Chagola.
Hi, my name is Regina Chagoya, and I'm a teacher at Berkeley Unified School District. I'm also a school board member for Emeryville Unified School District. I'm here to speak on behalf of my colleagues, many who seek our community college courses, thanks to Peralta, to take science courses so that they can earn a STEM-related science teaching certificate. And I also have colleagues who take courses for early childhood courses so that they can get their TK certification, which is going to be required in 2023. So many of the Peralta Community College courses are very essential for my colleagues, my coworkers, teachers. I'm also here to speak on behalf of Berkeley High, Emory High School students who benefit from the college courses to further their education. I myself am a first-generation high school graduate, let alone a college student, and my community colleges courses were very beneficial to me to get to where I'm at today. Our community needs courses provided by Peralta Community College District. Unfortunately, PCCD has cut off 551 CAP classes and laid off about 200 instructors, yet they've hired high-paying administrators. So I call on the district to stop cutting classes and listen to the students when making decisions about class offerings. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, I have Martha Cole.
Hi, good evening. My name is Martha Kuhl, and I'm speaking on behalf of the California Nurses Association. I'm an officer on the CNA board. CNA is urging the district to stop cutting classes. We need to maintain all educational opportunities. Peralta is one important pathway into nursing. Community colleges allow many who are not able to spend thousands of dollars and go into incredible debt the ability to become registered nurses. I myself took prereqs long ago at my local community college so that I could get into nursing school. I would not have been able to become an RN without that. This is just one of the many careers that the district makes possible, and it is very important that classes are not cut. It will harm all of us in this community. I know all of us are going to need nursing someday if we weren't already nursed as a child. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Deborah Weintraub.
Hi, I'm Deborah Weintraub, and I'm here tonight on behalf of the Peralta Retiree Organization, which is made up of former employees of the district, teachers, classified administrators, and confidentials. And one thing we all share in common is our concern about the students and access to services and classes that we spent our careers working with. And of course, we also all want to see the district, and we need to see the district succeed financially. But we do not believe that cutting classes is the way to resolve the district's financial issues. Our belief about the fallacy of cutting classes comes from the fact that we have a very long collective memory of institutional memory. We have people who have been in the district since it began. And we have lived through many years of varying economic fluctuations. Many of us are the people who worked through downsizing, consolidations, and 3 runs of layoffs in the 1980s when we lost 5,000 FTES and the district lost over $25 million. So we know all, and we also know, unfortunately, all too well, the fruitless efforts that go into trying to regain these students and increase enrollment once you've turned them away and canceled low enrolled classes. They leave Peralta, those students, and they rarely come back. It's not an easy thing to get those students to come back. They find someplace else to go. So yes, our collective experience and memory that cutting classes and services harms the students, and it also harms the district. And as some others have mentioned, we also know that the district historically manages to keep hiring at the administrative level, even duplicating services as enrollment decreases and students and faculty and classified are cut. Also, I'd like to say that in addition, many of us spent a great deal of effort to ensure that the bonds and parcel tax money came to the district. We worked on those campaigns because we believed the promise that Peralta was making, that they would use the money to maintain student access to classes and services during financially difficult times. We spoke to people, we phone banked, we went door to door, and we were pleased, as I'm sure many of you were, that the voters responded by giving us that money and trusting us because they want to see those classes kept. So we would like to see that. We believe you have a responsibility to the communities and to the students to continue keeping classes open.
Okay, next we have Jason Toro.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jason Toro. I am the Chief Program Officer with La Familia. La Familia is a behavioral health community support and advocacy organization, and we serve thousands of families throughout Alameda County and Contra Costa County. A significant portion of our work supports individuals returning home after a period of incarceration to enroll in training and education programs, including our community colleges. For many of our participants, PCCD campuses are a lifeline that allows them to fully integrate back into the community and into meaningful employment. Through our work with PCCD, we have witnessed our participants attain tremendous success. An example of this is a young woman who came to our reentry employment program on felony probation. She was willing to work and willing to learn. She was rapidly appointed to a peer mentor position and eventually hired permanently as a reentry coach within La Familia. Through this process, she enrolled at Merritt and began taking courses where she eventually earned her AA very recently, a short time ago. We're extremely proud of her. She now manages one of our diversion programs for people with mental illness and substance use disorder. In addition, she's in the process of applying to Cal State East Bay. So that's obviously a success story for the many people who we serve within our reentry employment programs. And that success story is only possible because classes and class offerings were available at the time that she needed to take them. Our reentry employment program counts on PCCD to have these classes and programs available for those who we serve when they are ready to enroll. This is key for many of our students who we have to support when they're in the moment and ready to take that step that's going to lead to their success. A canceled class or a lack of class offerings is a disappointment and a wasted opportunity for our participants. I call on the district to stop cutting classes and taking opportunities away from those who need them most. Thank you.
Thank you. We have Luis Quinlan next.
Good evening, Chancellor Jackson, members of the board, and the Peralta community. My name is Louis Quinlan. I'm a retired machine technology instructor from Laney College. The cuts that have occurring in our programs across the Peralta colleges are causing us not to be able to meet the needs of our local industries. Some of these local industries are critical to fighting the warming climate and climate change. Companies like Lilac Solutions, 12, Bloom Energy, Form Energy, and Natel Energy have all contacted our program recently to ask for machinists and mechanical maintenance people. We have not been able to provide those people because of the class cuts. The other thing that bothers me is that standard 2.8.6 of the accreditation standards says that we are supposed to be able to, our students are supposed to be able to complete all certificates in a timely manner. That is no longer possible in machine technology. We have certificates where we will not be able to offer a substantial amount of the classes. Therefore, those certificates will not be able to be attained by students. This is a violation of the accreditation standards. Our local community, our students need these jobs. Our community needs these jobs. The world needs these technologies. We need to have our students be able to progress to these companies with the skills that they learn in our programs. It's not just in Oakland that these skills are needed, but our colleges provide a consistent source of good employees that provide great research and enable these technologies. So I pray that you guys stop the cuts of these classes and enable our students to go out and do what they do best, which is change the world.
Thank you. Next, we have Stacy Gilmore.
Hello all. Thanks for hearing me today. I'm here because I have heard that you all are considering cutting funding for classes for the apparel design and merchandising program where I'm a student. From here on out, I'll say Adam or fashion. I hope that's okay with all. I'm here to share two student perspectives on what's happening. Myself and Maggie Lies. Maggie is registered for this meeting and she has ceded her speaking time slot to me and asked me to tell her story because she can't be here today. So I hear there's a belief that demand is declining because enrollment is declining and therefore we're justified in cutting classes and funding. So I'll provide a perspective on that. First, my own story. I'm a returning student with other degrees. I'm now studying here at COA's Adam program. Due to disabilities, which were not diagnosed until late in life, I've had a very diverse career path, yet I really failed to find sustainable work until now. It was College of Alameda that enabled me to find the industry that fits, work that fits, and enabled me to participate, successfully in the classroom and at work in a sustainable way for the first time. It's really changed my life here. You've helped me find work that fits my disabilities. So what am I talking about? I have autism, ADHD, PTSD, and multiple learning disabilities. The alphabet soup means that I struggle with a lot of challenges that most people don't, just doing everyday things. And, we are not the only California community college that has a fashion program. Yet I chose to study here. I'm choosing to get my degree here because this is a special place. It's special because we are the only Bay Area community college with a fashion program uniquely geared towards industry, towards sending students successfully out into industry. Our alumni base is spread across the Bay Area and California, working in fashion professions. And we also have the industrial equipment that is required to train on and required to enter the industry. It, in fact, enabled me, my training and the equipment here enabled me to get my first job. And it's notable to mention that I beat out people who had been in the field for years, had been studying, had been doing this since they were very young. And I had one semester of study here at Alameda, and I beat those people because we have the equipment the students are able to use. And everybody else had been using a home sewing machine and they just couldn't pass the test. So the other thing that's really special about us is our DSPS program, which is much, much better than the other community colleges throughout the Bay Area. I know because I've tried these other community colleges. And, I still continue to study with them, when our own course selection is too minimal to suit my needs. So before coming to College of Alameda, I couldn't keep a job. And here at College of Alameda, I was assessed by Lynn Rex, our educational specialist, who changed my life by telling me what was the matter for the first time. I did not know about any of these conditions. After that, I am able to work. I am able to participate in classes. I was able to seek help, learn how to advocate for myself, learn how to compensate for my strengths, and compensate for my weaknesses and steer towards my strengths. I made much better career choices. I've really found the right career path in the past couple of years here with Adam. And I know because I've had 2 internships and they've been very successful so far. Again, all based on our fabulous instructors who have that unique industry background and experience, the Fab Lab here, and the amount of industrial equipment we have is really unique. There are 4 or 5 other fashion programs in the Bay Area and they cannot touch us. So about the cuts in funding and classes for someone like me, as you can imagine, someone like me cannot study just anywhere. Alameda is unique. And, when programs are cut, then, I lose out, sure, because I just can't go to school then. But others lose out on the value that I bring. I'm very intelligent in spite of all my struggles. I did manage to achieve a UC Berkeley, college degree. So I do have intelligence, and I believe that I have something to offer. And that has been confirmed in my 2 internships. I'd like to make the point that demand for our program and our classes is not declining. It has been moved and it has been postponed. It has been moved to other schools when students cannot find the course selection we need here at Alameda. I am currently driving to Redwood City to attend Peralta College fashion classes which are not offered here at Alameda. I'm also taking classes at City College of San Francisco for the same reason. None as good as here, but better than nothing. Also, the shift to COVID really hurt us in the fashion program. Fashion is really a hands-on lab type of a subject. It's not like English or math. We're doing things every day. It's not a read the book and pass the test kind of subject. So, I know that of a number of students, including myself, that are postponing taking classes here at Alameda in hopes that we can return to in-person learning and have access to that equipment that is going to give us that edge to get our jobs and that sort of a thing. So that's the end of my story. And now I'm going to tell Maggie's, which is significantly shorter, I promise. So I'm going to read it in her own words. For Maggie Lai, I'm a working full-time student. I have two jobs to support myself. I'm a costume designer for an opera for a month, and afterwards I'm thinking of joining Urban Outfitters as a part-timer so I can work towards my dream as a fashion buyer one day. And College of Alameda's ADAM programs remain the only feasible option. May I have Maggie's time as well?
You got 6 minutes total. Did you get more than one person to concede?
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. It's very short. May I just finish 30 seconds?
Jeff Sinceri said he will concede his time to you.
Okay. Let's see. And College of Alameda's ADAM programs remain the only feasible option to achieve my dream because of the courses the program offers. And while I was attending the program, I felt like it was the best thing that's ever happened in my life. Because of the courses that were available and the community it created, I want to be able to make a living and have a career working in the fashion industry. Before working to support myself, my mom was the only one paying for my school and fees to support me. This is only possible because College of Alameda offers the affordable courses that I need. And I happen to know that Maggie is also attending Peralta College with me in Redwood City because she can't get the courses she needs for her future career in our ADAM program. So the answer is not fewer courses, it's more. So thank you. I'll stop there.
Stacey, quick question. What's the last name of Maggie that conceded her time to you?
Lai, L-A-I, and she is registered.
Thank you. Next, we have Marjorie Haskell.
Better known as Marge Gibson Haskell, a former member of the Oakland City Council, whom I suspect some of you may remember. I'm here because I'm a part-time instructor at Berkeley City College. I teach political science, and in fact, my invited and still invited guests include the public defender Brendan Woods, the DA Nancy O'Malley, and Alameda County Judge Don Clay. This is a tale of a course that was almost canceled. It began as a face-to-face course in the spring. And there were only 3 students at that point, probably because of fears of COVID, who registered. So I was given the option of either dropping the course for this term immediately, which would have messed up completely the 3 students who were all political science majors and needed the course, or transfer it to becoming an 8-week synchronous, asynchronous course. It was recommended to save the 3 political science students that I try to do the transfer to a synchronous, asynchronous 8-week course, and that was what I did. We went until 5 days of the class start, and it was looking like it was going to get canceled again. But I said, let's just wait it out because I know the students at BCC and they register late. I have to tell you, in the 5 days before prior to the start of that class, 9 students registered. So we went from 3 to 12 in 5 days. It's a comment on the fact that our students do not register early. And if we cut a class 2 weeks out, the students that might have registered don't. And in fact, interestingly, I looked to see who these students were. Of the 12, 4 of the 5 were not previously registered students in political science, but had heard about my course from various people talking about it. We would not have had those students registered at BCC if we had cut the class when we normally would have. They included high school students, they included older folks. So we went from 3 to 12 in 5 days. My class is going very nicely now. Brendan Woods and Nancy O'Malley have spoken to the class. We've recorded it so that anyone else who wants to see it can. And it's a very successful class. I think the moral is, under the normal cutting process,
10 seconds,
we're going to lose students. And we need to keep everyone we can get. And that means recognizing how late our students register. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Max McCoy.
Good evening. My name is Max McCoy-Krasinski, and I'm a student at Peralta Colleges. I quit my Google job last year to return to community college at the age of 29, complete my prereqs, get an AA, and transfer to a 4-year university. However, after 37 units over the last 10 months, I'm unlikely to be granted this AA due to a 1-unit computer literacy requirement. I'm here today to request flexibility on this. I was last at Mendocino Community College 11 years ago, and I'm now attending all the Peralta colleges, Diablo Valley College, and Coyamuca College down in San Diego. It's amazing what you can do when you're computer literate, isn't it? Overall, I've taken 111 units. My GPA is a hair north of 3.9, and I'm planning to get a degree in architecture. I want you to understand that coming here is a last resort Hail Mary of sorts. I have had 8 counseling sessions with the amazing Irina Rivkin to determine how best to meet the IJETSI and AA requirements. For computer literacy, we decided that the credit by exam option was too uncertain, so I opted to take Architecture 125 to fulfill it. Unfortunately, despite having 14 students enrolled, Laney VPI, Rebecca Hapsada, held firm to this 15-student minimum requirement and canceled the class. Having missed my opportunity to enroll in the 1-unit computer literacy class, I went down the route of credit by exam. This is where I met Heather Cisneros, the incredible credit for prior learning district lead, and counselor Laura Bolentino. At this meeting, I found I was particularly well read on AP 4235. And with their help, I emailed with the teachers who would be administering the exam at Merritt, the only college offering CBE for the class in question, and filed my paperwork with Merritt A&R. I did not receive a response from A&R for almost 2 weeks, after which time I called in and was told I only have 8 units at Merritt, so would not meet the 12-unit residency requirement for CBE. I returned to Heather and she encouraged me to contact Rebecca Opsada, who promised to talk to the VPI at Merritt. However, nobody seems willing to waive this residency requirement. Given my background, I thought this absurd requirement can have an absurd solution. Let's look at other ways of handling credit for prior learning per the AP, like portfolio review. And this is when I learned that the umbrella AP 4235 credit for prior learning has not been implemented at Peralta Colleges, with the exception of credit by exam. I also learned that the computer literacy requirement for an AA will be deprecated in fall 2023, just to add insult to injury. And I learned that legally, should one college in the district be offering credit by exam for a course, all other colleges with that course must offer the same. At this point, I'm asking for the computer literacy requirement to be waived for me, and I would argue for every other student graduating this year. If we can use Canvas, we must be computer literate. And if that is too exceptional of an ask, then I would ask that the 12-unit residency requirement to take credit by exam at Merritt is waived and the process is accelerated to allow me to graduate at the conclusion of this semester. Thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you, Max. Next, we have Heather Cisneros.
Good evening to all of the attendees tonight here in our Zoom and face-to-face meeting, Chancellor Jackson, and our dedicated board members. My name is Heather Cisneros, and I am a kinesiology faculty at Laney College. I have been fortunate to have been assigned the credit for prior learning lead here at the district, and it was through that role that I was able to meet Max McCoy, who you just heard. Through this process, he is a student who is the epitome of the students that we serve coming back to college to get an AA degree to move back and go to a 4-year university. As you heard his story, he was already slated to be taking a computer literacy course that got canceled. And by time we worked through the low staffing at many of our colleges, we didn't get communication about this 12-unit requirement and his ineligibility till farther down in the semester, at which we started to try to connect with Vice President of Instructions to see if there's something that can be done. Now the 12-unit residency requirement, I understand, is a requirement that we have in our AP. And being a district, and we also hear in our district that students swirl. And so having the difference of having to have 12 units, but understanding that our students swirl they don't match together. And these are one of the pieces that we're seeing. These are barriers that our students encounter. I am absolutely thankful that I was able to meet Max, and I look at him as a student who is advocating for himself, researching information, how many students read APs, how many people in Peralta read APs, and he knows his information. He is computer literate. And we're in a situation where he is advocating to graduate, and I think he mentioned the ironic piece to this is computer literacy and our degrees are going to be going away. And Chancellor Jackson, I believe that DAS President Donald Moore had forwarded you that information that was the approval by CIPD through the recommendation of the PCTV counseling department. They started that process 3 years ago. If we would have jumped on it then Max would not be in this situation right now. And it just brings together how we see how a lot of these barriers occur for our students. And we want to be in a situation where we can simplify our processes and streamline them so that our students can be success. Through state initiatives, they're supposed to enhance student success, and credit for prior learning is one of them. We are, as a district, working to implement all levels of credit for prior learning, though we only have credit by exam at this time. The CIS instructor is on the ready at Merritt College to provide CBE for Max. And in the future, as I investigate AP 4235, I will work to try to make adjustments to remove the barriers that we have for other students. Heather Cisneros is my name. Email me. Let's get Max credit by examination as soon as possible.
3 minutes.
And let's connect that way. I thank you for your time, and I look forward to Max graduating this semester. Thank you.
Thank you, Heather. Next, we have Myra Shaw.
Good evening to you all. My name is Maria Shaw. I am a member of the Black Minds Matter at Peralta. I'm here tonight not only as a member of the BMMP, but also as an immigrant student, to express my deep concerns on the district's plan to further addressing student enrollment decline by cutting classes. As an immigrant, I am required to meet this country and the state's education standard, and in order to work for the industry of my dreams. Peralta Community College is very important to me because your mission in advancing social and economic transformation for students and community through quality education guarantees that for me and for my immigrant community. I speak here today because as an immigrant student, I was deeply and negatively impacted by the board's decision in the last 2 years to cut over 500 sections and lay off nearly 200 instructors. As of today, I have not graduated. I had to defer my classes as I could not find suitable class times to complement my new job schedules. Further cuts will only force me and members of my community and other students experiencing this dilemma to drop our educational journey and our dream of graduating and applying for the dream job that we want. As vulnerable community, we are directly impacted, and these class cut plans will only affect our dream. Our dream as an immigrant in this beautiful country is to get through the educational system, meet that educational standard, and take advantage of the opportunities this country has to offer and contribute to this economy. When the board does not fulfill its mission to provide accessible, quality education and job training, job in the community, it significantly impacts the dream. I give credit to the Emoja program. It has been a community that has contributed to my progress and positive experience with Peralta. I believe that the district has a lot of funds to avoid cuts and still have more funds to restore classes. And I'm calling on the district for engagement and inclusivity. Please prioritize budgets for students and faculties. Please restore classes and please stop class cuts. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next, we have Sean Garcia.
Hello? Hello, are you there?
Yes, we are.
Hi, my name is Sean Garcia, and I am a grateful graduate of Laney College. I'm a graduate of the culinary program, as well as a part-time culinary instructor at Laney College. I am currently a culinary instructor at Youth Employment Partnership in Oakland, California, and we are a workforce development agency. Students need options to set goals for life. And I would never be in the position that I am today if it weren't for Laney College and their culinary program. As I work with people in Oakland, I realize the importance of diversity in our community. And Laney College is that place, a place where people can come together and learn together. There is so much talent and positivity in Oakland. Students need a place to represent that. And the culinary program at Laney College needs more funding in classes so that we can create the chefs of the future. I'm very thankful and very proud to be a part and a graduate of Laney College. And I just wanted to chime in and tell you that, you know, people in Oakland really need a place where they can go and express their talent. And that's in culinary arts. And I just wanted to chime in and say, you know, no more class cuts. Let's build this program up so that we can build up our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Wendy Bloom.
Hi, my name is Wendy Bloom, and I've been a registered nurse for 36 years. I graduated from San Francisco State in 1986. I was a mother of 6-month-old twins when I started taking my prerequisites. I went to Laney and Contra Costa Community Colleges to take all my classes at night since I had such young children and couldn't afford childcare. I could only manage one class a semester. I was not able to be flexible with my schedule, so it was very important to have classes at a time that worked for me. This helped me immensely to achieve my goal of becoming an RN. I'm now retiring as a bedside nurse, and I see the crisis we're facing in healthcare as the shortage of nurses, radiology techs, respiratory therapists, and lab technologists grow. I am truly dismayed to hear that the PCCD is looking at cutting classes, especially classes like chemistry and biology, which may derail students' education. It seems to be short-sighted decision at a time when there's a critical labor shortage in healthcare. I'm calling on the board to stop cutting classes, restore classes you've already cut, and get more input from students, faculty, and the community when making choices about class offerings. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have MV Watson.
Hi, I want to read a statement from a student who reached out to me about class cuts. So this is in her voice. Hi, my name is Sharona Chung. I'm currently a student at BCC and at CCSF and a tutor at College of Alameda. I want to share how my life has been enriched by community college because it's an accessible opportunity for people with fewer resources to explore and expand their horizons. It can also be an important ladder for more diverse communities into fields that would otherwise be exclusive. As a student at CCSF, I had wanted to take environmental sciences to explore starting a career in that field. I took an agroecology class where I got to do field work, visiting 6 farms and exploring a whole new way of living and farming sustainability. I had never thought I'd be interested in farming because of my impression of it as factory farming. I also thought that farming was exclusive and lacking in diversity. I can no longer explore my interests now because CCSF has closed their entire environmental science department. Right now, I'm in school at BCC to change careers and go into physical therapy. Years ago, I took swimming classes at Laney, and because of that opportunity, I've been able to work as a lifeguard and swim instructor. I was laid off due to the pandemic, but had wanted to take a swim class at Laney to get back my endurance, but I can't do that because no swimming classes are being offered. Even though being a swimming instructor seems like a low pay or insignificant job, knowing how to swim is an important skill, and by not teaching it, it leaves a hole in our workforce and it deprives me of a way to support myself through my education. I wanted to share these experiences to communicate to the board that every canceled class or closed program represents a loss for someone in the community, a lost skill or opportunity. I want to urge the board to stop cutting classes and offer more opportunities to the committee. I also just am really touched by the amount of community support in this meeting. I want to thank community members for that. And I also want to urge the board to remember that this is the community you serve. And by not putting resources into that community, it's a real mismanagement of funds and a betrayal of the mission of this institution. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Keen Chukwunita. I apologize if I said that correctly.
No problem. You're not the first, and that was a good attempt. Hello, everyone. My name is Keen Chukwunita. I'm an Oakland resident and organizer for San Francisco Jobs with Justice. We're a labor and community coalition who fight for working people. Our members, include hotel workers, restaurant workers, retail and service workers, domestic workers, nurses, teachers, city, the whole gamut. And I'm really just here to speak against the cuts that are being considered. So in my work across the Bay, we're seeing drastic cuts from City College of San Francisco. It's led to about 58 educators being issued pink slip layoff notices. And if this is carried out, in San Francisco, there'll be over 100 fully enrolled classes that are cut permanently. So, ESL learners working folks who are trying to make changes in their lives and students who are hoping to access four-year college will all be negatively impacted. I can't state enough how much I don't want to see this replicated here in Oakland. As Oakland residents depend on the courses and services provided by Peralta and his families make adjustments amid the ongoing global pandemic, demand is highly likely to increase for the services that are provided. So I don't see how the appropriate response to these shifts is going to be, to limit the options of students and potential students of the future. The shifts that are happening in our economy demand that we redouble our efforts to provide opportunity to as many learners as possible. And I would imagine that each of you have been elected to protect those resources that make that possible. So instead of the cuts that are being suggested, I'm here to ask that you protect the futures of current and future students. And, it's really what the public expects of you. And, while students may not be the most aware of what goes on in all of these boards, although I will say that I'm, heartened to see quite a few speaking up today, I'm certain that, current and future students will be extremely thankful for the work that you've done here if you do decide to keep their windows of opportunity open at a time when things are becoming very bleak and difficult for working folks here in the East Bay. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next, we have Kimberly King.
Thank you, Sasha. Greetings, Board of Trustees. I'm Kimberly King, Laney College faculty and co-coordinator of the Umoja program and co-founder of Black Minds Matter at Peralta. Laney College and the Peralta District serve some of the most diverse and hardworking students anywhere. As you know, our students are all ages, come from every ethnic background, mostly BIPOC, immigrants and refugees, mostly working class and low-income members of the Oakland community who want to change their lives, their communities, and the world. Maybe it's too hard for some district leaders to be supportive of students and faculty when they themselves live outside of the state, nowhere near the East Bay, where Peralta students and faculty live. I believe all the members of our elected Board of Trustees do live in their districts, and I implore them to please represent the voters, the people of Oakland and the East Bay, and stop the planned, unnecessary deep class cuts. The proposed cuts will hurt both students and teachers in our communities. By cutting classes, we are shrinking opportunities. We are shrinking Peralta, and we are shrinking the chances for communities who need it the most. We are setting a precedent of shrinking that I worry could lead to the end of our colleges. Is our goal to be like City College of San Francisco, to shrink so much that students no longer trust they can get the classes they need here and start attending other classes? We've heard from students doing that already. Now they have shrunk, City College has shrunk so much that they're laying off 38 full-time instructors on top of more than 100 part-time lecturers. Board of Trustees, I am sure that you care about the community where you live, just like I care about the community where I live. I'm sure you do not want to be the overseers of shrinking educational opportunities and the ultimate destruction, possibly, of the Peralta Community College system. It's not a scare tactic to say that. You're seeing what happened to City College, one of the most powerful and best colleges in community colleges in the country. It can happen to us. The huge class cuts that are planned are harmful to our community and unnecessary given the state's hold harmless policy that provides funding from the state. I urge the board to urge the chancellor to do the right thing and respect the students, faculty, staff, and community of the Peralta Colleges and the Oakland, Alameda, and Berkeley communities. Education is key to opportunity. We need to expand it, not shrink it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Keith Brown.
Good evening, Board of Trustees. My name is Keith Brown. I'm a middle school teacher at Bret Harte Middle School in the Oakland Unified School District, and I'm also released as president of the Oakland Education Association, and I am speaking on behalf of the educators of Oakland, educators in OUSD. We recognize the Peralta Community Colleges as a much needed lifeline for our students in the East Bay, for our students in Oakland, our Black and Brown students. As a teacher at Bret Harte Middle School a few years back, I took a group of newcomer students to Laney College, and these are students from the Middle East, from Central America, from South Asia, and my students, they had an opportunity to meet students in the Laney Culinary Academy. They also viewed the award-winning tiny houses that were constructed by Laney's carpentry students. And it was from that experience that my students saw right here in Oakland, there's opportunities for them. And again, our community colleges, they serve as a needed lifeline for our students. Myself, I attended UC Davis. My mom became ill with lupus, and I had to come back home. And the Peralta colleges were there for me to take needed classes. And educators such as myself, we are products of the community college system. So I'm here to urge the trustees to listen to the community, listen to the instructors on this call, listen to the students, and this is not the time to cut vital classes that our students need. We need to restore cut classes, and we need to make sure that the Peralta students are the priority of this board for the fall of 2022. Our students need as many opportunities as possible. We cannot close the door on our students. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Elena Gassis.
Hello, good evening, trustees, district administration, Peralta colleagues, and of course, most importantly, our students. My name is Elena Gastis, and I am here tonight in my capacity as president of the Academic Senate at Laney College. For those of you who aren't lucky enough to be in a classroom with our beautiful, bright students at Peralta, let me tell you, those of us who are wake up every morning so thankful for that opportunity. I want you to imagine that you are an instructor for one of the classes that we offer. One of the most important documents an instructor can create is a syllabus, which communicates all of the expectations and provides the framework for how the semester will go. Much like the syllabus, us nerdier types who are entrenched in participatory governance work on updating and adhering to these things called administrative procedures. APs act as our written framework of process for everything from hiring to declaring travel expenditures. Many of these administrative procedures deeply influence participatory governance as they set the ground rules for constituency appointees that allow decision-making at the colleges and the district service center to flourish. I'm here to speak tonight because several times in the last month, I have witnessed a lack of adherence to administrative procedures. Most recently, it was AP 7800, which grants emeritus status to our colleagues. The AP says there's supposed to be a committee of stakeholder constituents to vet a list of eligible candidates, but it was never formed. Whether it was an unintentional oversight or not, granting emeritus status to anyone without following the procedure is a disrespect to the Peralta community and the principle of participatory governance. My comments tonight are intended to bring to your attention an issue that rests at the core of the Academic Senate and our accreditation standards. Faculty desperately want to work with you together. We want to work with students, with classified professionals, with administrators. We are stronger when we put our heads together. Let's ensure that all Peralta constituents have a seat at the table. And let's ensure that we all model the behavior we ask of others. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, we have Michelle Carter.
Hello. Hi, I am a student at College of Alameda. I'm a student in the ADAM program, and I will be graduating this this spring. And I started my participation in the program back in 2019 at a pivotal time in my life. And I had the choice of going into computers or something like that, or taking the fashion program. So I decided on that, and I made a right choice. So when I heard they're going to be cutting some classes, I kind of could relate to that because it's a 2-year program, but this is my 3rd year in the program because of the availability sometimes of the courses. I will say that when the pandemic came out and we had to switch to online, our teachers didn't miss a beat. And you can imagine that it might be kind of difficult to teach fashion, construction, and things like that over the internet. But it was great. And I think we actually became more like a family then. I think everybody, going through everything was really glad to get together. I was anyway, during those times. So here we are in 2022. I'm graduating, and I was able to start my own fashion business last year. So we're just getting started, just having contracts and talks and things like that. And one of the things that I found out is that Statistica.com says that in 2020, the global fashion market revenue was about 1.46 trillion US dollars, and it's estimated to grow to 2.25 trillion by 2025. So I'm finding as I talk with educators of younger students that they want to make sure the American workforce is prepared for manufacturing jobs in fashion, not just designing dresses or, the parts that we see on TV, but there's so many jobs in the fashion industry that American students need to be prepared for. So I feel like I've gotten that here at College of Alameda. And I want to make sure that the students that I'm going to be working with, I was planning to refer to, of course, College of Alameda for the ADAM program. And I'm hoping that the courses will be available. And the thing that I find that employers are looking for right now are students or people that can do the digital part. So the trend, it's good. We learned both. We learned the couture and the traditional way of doing things, and we've also learned the digital. So I think going forward, employers are really going to look at students that have the digital skills that they need to be competitive right now. So I'm hoping that classes will stay, and also that you'll be able to add them, add more classes and more options. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Next, we have Maggie Fetter. Maggie, I see you're on this as a panelist. Can you hear us? Maggie?
I signed up. I'm sorry. I realized I was muted. I'm a representative with United Food and Commercial Workers Union, representing thousands of people here in the Bay Area. And for many working people who are having a hard enough time paying rent in the Bay Area, Peralta junior colleges are their only pathway to higher education. Cutting access to classes will not result in potential students going somewhere else to study. It will result in potential students going nowhere, possibly both literally and figuratively. Where you have access to classes, you have access to dreams. And these dreams change people's lives. So please don't keep cutting all these classes at the junior colleges. Thank you.
Thank you. And the last public speaker we have is Lisa Litsky.
Sorry, turn my screen off. Okay, yeah, I mean, everyone has really, I support 100% what everyone has said. I only want to say that I hope, I am Lisa Litsky. I'm a faculty at Peralta College, and I've taught classes at, faculty at Laney, and I've taught classes at Merritt. I only want to say that I hope you will listen to the current and former students that have spoken out, the current and former faculty, community members who've already spoken so convincingly and resoundingly in favor of reversing the unnecessary class cuts, and who've also pointed out the educational and economic harms they would do to the Peralta community, to the district itself, the colleges, as well as to current and future students and current and future faculty. So I just want to cheer everyone who's come out today to stand up for this position. Thank you.
Apparently we got one more public comment. Monica Cross, I'm moving you over now. And then that is the last one.
I'm sorry, Sasha. Did you say that was the last one, or there's one more person?
There was one more. She just raised her hand last.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Here I am. My name is Monica Cross. I'm a pastor of First Christian Church of Oakland. Also, I'm on the California Coordinating Committee of the Poor People's Campaign. The Poor People's Campaign is standing to fight against austerity that's going on in a lot of our areas, particularly here in Oakland. This idea of austerity that we cannot afford it. And we put students in danger, students at risk. Another part is that Peralta, Laney College, is a partner in the community. So when we cut classes, not only do we impact the student, but we impact the whole community. But this has been going on for a long time in our country, that we cut. First people we cut are the poor. The first people we cut are the working class. The first people we cut are people in the working class who can make a better world. So my thing is this: don't cut. You'll just make matters worse. Maybe, and so part of that thing is maybe many of you don't live in the area. That's part of the problem. But I know in my church, a lot of the students rely on going to Laney to get their education so they can live out their dreams, look like you folks do here. So I just want to put that out there. Please don't cut any more courses. Thank you.
Thank you. And that is the end of public comment, President.
Great. Thank you, Sasha. Again, thank you all for taking the time to come and speak to us tonight. As always, the comments are illuminating and enlightening. Let's move on to 3.12, Chancellor's reports.
Good afternoon or good evening, everyone. I'd like to, before I turn it over to the presidents to make their report, I want to congratulate our students on their graduation, either with a certificate or AA degree. And I look forward to the celebrations that will be forthcoming. Some of them will be in person in terms of a celebration or a party. Others will be a virtual graduation. So to all of the graduates of 2022, as I said in my message, I feel that you're like a phoenix, coming out of the COVID and going out to face a brave new world. So congratulations to you. I'd like to start with our traditional alphabetical order, starting with Berkeley City College, then followed by College of Alameda, Laney College, and then Merritt College. So with that, I'll turn it over to Dr. Angelica Garcia from Berkeley City College.
Thank you. Good evening, President Napoleon Bellarice, members of trustees on the dais, those joining us via Zoom, Chancellor Jackson, colleagues. In addition to the written board report that's in your packets, I just want to share a few comments. This past Sunday, I had the privilege of serving as the keynote closing speaker at UC Berkeley for the Transfer Bridges program, where 300 admitted California Community College transfer students were here for multiple days to learn of the community, acquaint themselves with campus, and ultimately to see if UC Berkeley and the Bay Area would be their home. Amongst that group, there were 40 students from the Bay Area, and the Transfer Bridges program focuses on first generation, low income students of color. So it's the student leadership groups at UC Berkeley that host this weekend. As part of my comments, it really was just sharing the importance of whether it's UC Berkeley or another four-year institution. The most important thing is, if pursuing a bachelor's degree is their goal, that they take advantage of the opportunity to do so. Unbeknownst to me, there was one of our BCC transfer students who was in the room who declared and committed to UC Berkeley after that afternoon. And so I just want to take a moment to acknowledge BCC scholar Treasure Bhutan, who committed to UC Berkeley and will become a Cal Bear along with the other hundreds of students this fall. So I saw President Johnson doing a little Go Bears. Just a lot of energy. It was phenomenal. And I will say this, that it was on Mother's Day. When I agreed to the event, I didn't really know that it was on Mother's Day, but I had the chance to take my daughter. And I don't think that there's another place I would have rather been than to promote that kind of energy for students. Since our last board meeting on April 29th, on Friday, April 29th, Peralta Colleges Foundation hosted a fireside chat where the mayor of Berkeley, Jesse Arreguin, and Senator Skinner joined us for a phenomenal conversation. There was a lot of great ideas, passion for the community, shared a lot of attendance. I want to thank Trustee Delphine Polk for being there in attendance with representation of the trustees, Chancellor Jackson, Dr. Droker, and other colleagues. It really was great to share the BCC story and the focus of the work that we're doing for some of our long-term planning. As a result of that, Senator Skinner shared information with us that the California Legislature's Women Caucus funds a scholarship program. And so this is something that likely all the presidents received information. It's the Minerva Scholarship Program for female California residents. And so want to encourage all Peralta students, female students, to apply for this scholarship. It's a $2,500 scholarship. And when application of those local winners, then they become candidates of a $10,000 Golden Minerva Scholarship. And these are unrestricted funds for students to use to pursue higher education. So we want to make sure that our Peralta students know that. As the BCC Classified Senate report included, we do have an end of the year celebration on campus on May 25th during college hour, where we plan to host lunch, some raffle prizes, and really just pause as a community to thank the tireless work that classified professionals, faculty, managers, community members have done over this past year to serve students. So if you are in the neighborhood and you would like to join us on May 25th during college hour, you are most invited. And just in closing, I want to take it back to our students. I really want to close with a well wish for students who have gotten to this point. You're preparing final exams, papers, projects. The nights can seem really long. And I wish all of our students the best of luck, and to trust their energy and trust their gut that they are prepared for what is about to happen, whether it's finishing with one of our colleges and going into the work field or transferring, or if it's finishing this semester to start again. Hopefully there's a lot of rejuvenated energy amidst that. So with that, that'll close my remarks for this evening. Thank you.
Good evening, President Reese, trustees, Chancellor Jackson, colleagues, and guests. I'm pleased to provide the report for the College of Alameda this evening. First, I'd like to share some things that we've been doing pertaining to student engagement and student services. First, College of Alameda Financial Aid Spring Fair was held on April the 13th. Outdoors in our quad area, over 160 students attended the event. The event featured carnival themes, games, prizes, raffles. It was a lot of fun. Participants also got down to business. They learned about opportunities related to financial aid, how to complete their financial aid files, as well as additional information regarding federal and state financial aid opportunities. They scheduled appointments to receive additional assistance with completing their FAFSA and DREAM Act applications. Also, College of Alameda English to Speakers of Second Languages Department participated in the Afghan Refugee Resource Fair at the Alameda Point Waterfront Park. Attendees showed great interest in the college ESOL non-credit classes, and 37 new students signed up to take English language classes for the fall of 2022. Also, the College of Alameda Accesso program, in collaboration with the Fab Lab, hosted 29 students from high school seniors from Castlemount High School for a visit to the college campus. Students participated in a tour of the campus, received admission presentation highlighting our college's degrees and certificate and transfer opportunities, as well as special programs that will support them in their journey. Students also had an opportunity to experience hands-on activities in the Fab Lab, where they got a chance to play with some of the cool toys and make mementos to take home with them to represent their visit. Also, the college COA dance professor, Danny Nguyen, and his dance students will be performing at a showcase of Asian American choreography celebrating Asian American and Pacific Islander Month on Saturday, May 14th at 1:45 to 2:45 at Peace Plaza in San Francisco. Admission is open to the public and free of charge. On April the 26th, the College of Alameda's Student Activity and Campus Life kicked off its Asian America and Pacific Islander Heritage Month with a free food and fun activities. Art instructor Drew Burgess led hands-on crafts, followed by cooking classes with students learning how to make and eat delicious spring rolls, including me. I tried my hand at it. I don't know that I'm going to be making spring rolls as a profession, but I gave it the good old college try. So also, we will have other events on May 13th, and then we'll have our final event on May 16th. As you are aware, that we'll be celebrating our virtual commencement on May the 27th. I thank you all for your speeches that you've done online. I hope yours went well. And thank you, Joe, for coming out to the campus to tee up mine as well. So I appreciate that. So it's going to be virtual, but then there's also going to be a live event on the 27th from 2 to 4 on campus, where we'll have an opportunity for students to come by, take photos, get gifts, and celebrate with some of their immediate family and friends. Lastly, I would like to do a staff spotlight. One of our custodians, Miss Wanda Lee, not only takes care of our facilities and keeping them clean, but she also on a regular basis gets involved with our free produce market. She's out there volunteering and also providing translation services to community members that come to the event. It's always a pleasure. I enjoy the times when I'm able to go out there, roll up my sleeves, right along with her and the rest of our wonderful colleagues in serving the community. It gives me great pleasure that colleagues such as Wanda make our slogan, COA Cares, not just a slogan, but an actual way of conducting the business of the college. So that ends my report for this evening.
Good evening, Chancellor Jackson, President Napoli Abella-Reese, members of the governing board, colleagues in education, valued community members, and of course, our very important students. I'd like to take the board back a few weeks to an agreement that you approved first for the district with Huron and then Laney College with Huron. And I imagine just as a carpenter works, it's great to see kind of the fruits of the labor. And I want to share some of that with you tonight, especially regarding our agreement between Laney College and Huron. Thanks to that contract, it has already resulted in more than 1,400 Pell Grant records being successfully transmitted through the system, which has now resulted in the district's ability to recoup $2.2 million in Pell Grant funds for this academic year. Just again, wanted to start by sharing that bit of good news with the board for the work it's done. On Saturday, April 30th, the 100 Black Men of the Bay Area organization held its first Career Expo event at Laney College, as I shared was going to happen in my last board report. With me, the day began with welcoming remarks from Joseph Frank of Wells Fargo Bank, Julius Robinson of Union Bank and their foundation, Dorian Giles, who is a personal brand agent for professional athletes, a sports agent telling his story, and really was a great event that hosted a number of area high school students. And there were panels in place, including one that featured Laney College carpentry professor Matthew Wolpe. It was really a privilege, in addition, to welcome many dignitaries to Laney that included Council Member Lauren Taylor, as well as County Supervisor Keith Carson, along with a host of others that even included Peralta College's Foundation Board Vice President, Dr. Joseph Sentiments. This event was a success thanks to the planning and collaboration that took place at Laney. And I mentioned the individuals in my last board report, but my gratitude certainly remains for all at Laney that really gave of their time to make this Saturday event a success. And we certainly look forward to next year. Speaking of our Peralta Colleges Foundation, we at Laney, of course, are looking forward to the May 23rd golf tournament. And what you may not know is there are quite a few individuals at Laney that have been promoting the tournament to our community partners. And I would like to thank and appreciate Dr. David Lee in particular, who through his outreach has actually gotten 3 community members to register for the tournament. And that's something that is greatly appreciated. Our successes continue in other areas. Laney College received a grant. It was the seating strategies to close the calculus equity gap. And we, along with the other 3 Peralta colleges, were awarded a $100,000 grant. And I think what's significant there, I'll share, I think we talked about statistics. I'll give you the number 15. That's the number of colleges or districts in the state that got awarded this grant. So we're in pretty good company. Receiving this news, Math Department Chair David Ross noted that the project would not have been successfully funded without the collaboration from Laney math faculty professors Kyla O, Anna Werner, and Kathy Williamson. Also, I would like to express appreciation to Vice President of Instruction, Dr. Becky Absada, as well as the Dean of Math and Sciences, Mr. Angel Fuentes Figueroa. And in closing, I just would like to also share, and there have been this is like the third time our student body president mentioned something that I was going to say in my board report. I would like to extend congratulations. Of course, there are finals ahead and final projects and things, but would like to extend my congratulations to our associated students of Laney College leaders, all of whom were accepted to the institutions that Mr. Homerun told you about earlier tonight. So we all share in their success, and I'll, of course, look forward to hearing all the things they do in the future. And with that, that concludes my report tonight.
Okay, good evening, everyone. President Napoli-Abel-Reese, trustees, chancellor, colleagues, and community members. As an aside, I just noticed that the latest issue of The Citizen just came out. And it appears that I'm featured in one of the articles, so let me sit up and get this right. So I'm pleased to report that Merritt Soul has returned to campus. So you might wonder, what is SOUL? SOUL stands for, it's an acronym standing for Sustaining Oakland Urban Lives, and it represents an effort on the part of the college to engage and support our students and the greater community. It's led by Ms. Doris Hankins, the Director of Student Activities and Campus Life at Merritt College, and she works in concert with the Alameda County Food Bank, our Natural History and Sustainability Department, EOPS, ASMC, to do a soft launch. So we did a soft launch. You might recall when we were in front of Eastmont Mall across the street, and we were doing with Steph Curry's foundation. So we've moved the effort back up to Merritt College. And so we initiated that soft launch on Thursday, April 28th. And we worked out of the ASMC student chambers, and we were able to provide over 100 meals to families in need. So going forward, we're going to be working out of room 124, building R, with May 19th being the next date. So I encourage everyone to avail themselves of the opportunity to either pick up or help pass out meals to our students and community members. Next, I'm very excited to share that late last month, the United States Congress designated the Peralta Community College District to receive congressionally directed community project funds, basically earmarks, as part of the Omnibus Appropriations Act 2022. So specifically, the Appropriations Act designated $500,000, $500,000, y'all, in support of Merritt College's cybersecurity program, which is going to include the purchase of equipment and the expansion of career education efforts. So for that, I want to formally thank Chancellor Jackson and Trustee Linda Handy for all of their work and advocacy to make this happen. We formally accepted the grant by the May 2nd deadline, and Dr. Denise Richardson, who serves as our VP of Instruction, will serve as a point person going forward. Finally, I'd like to recognize a student. Her name is Miss Sabrina Sablin, and she is the Merritt College 2022 President's Medallion Award winner. Ms. Sablin maintains a 3.82 GPA and will graduate this month with a degree in business. This after graduating last year with a degree in psychology. And in her application for this award, she shared that she has had to support herself since she was 13 years old. That's the age she was when her mother passed away. Subsequent to that, she became a single mother. She's been homeless and had to confront various other personal issues. But education, as she shared in her application, became her lifeline. Her words, I overcame my self-doubt, my anxiety, as well as my fears, and decided to sign up. It was the best thing I've ever done. College literally saved my life. Found my purpose and passion in school. So after graduation, she plans to transfer, but also continue her entrepreneurial pursuits, as she currently runs not one, but 2 small businesses that she founded. So please join me in congratulating her in receiving this award. and wishing her success going forward. So in closing, like some of our other presidents have said, we're winding it down at the end of the semester. So the students, good luck, bear down. The finish line is in sight. I need you to run through the tape. So this concludes my report from Merritt College.
Thank you, Presidents. This is the best time of the year when you see the fruits of your labor. And so we are going to do great celebratory get-togethers to let our students know how proud we are of them. Thank you very much. I'll turn it back over to you, President Reese.
Thank you. It is. It's wonderful to hear all that's happening this time of the year. And it's also wonderful to remember what they had to do to get to this point. And I think we celebrate the victories and hard won and hard done, but it was all the challenges and the relentlessness that got them there. So exciting and inspiring. Thank you all. All right, let's move on to the public hearing. 4.1. Public hearing of the Peralta, I'm sorry, hold on, let me just make sure I have my agenda in front of me. Back by all the reports. Apologies, give me 1 second. Okay. 4.1, presentation of the Peralta Community College District's initial proposal for collective bargaining agreement with Peralta Federation of Teachers, Service Employees International Union Local 1021, and the International Union of Operating Engineers Local 39 for successor agreements for 2022-2025. Gavel in. This being the time and date noticed, the Board of Trustees will now convene a public hearing to receive public comment regarding Peralta Community College District's initial proposal for PFT, SEIU Local 39. Have we, Madam Board Secretary, received any request to speak, or is there anyone present who wishes to comment regarding this topic? Madam Board Secretary?
I do not see any hands raised for this item, President.
Okay. Seeing and hearing no comments, I will declare the public hearing closed. Thank you. Gavel out. And board members, I need a motion because we do need to vote on this item. May I have a motion? Thank you, Trustee Jenkins. Second, please. Second. Thank you, Trustee Withrow. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Student Trustee Hogan?
Yes.
Student Trustee Cooper?
Yes.
Trustee Withrow?
Yes.
Trustee Jenkins?
Yes.
Trustee Handy?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez Ewan?
Yes.
Trustee Delphine Polk?
Yes.
Trustee Nobelia Bellarese?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. 4.2, public hearing. This is the second reading of the International Union of Operating Engineers Local 39, initial proposal for collective bargaining agreement with the Peralta Community College District for 2022 labor negotiations. Gavel in. This being the time and date noticed, the Board of Trustees will now convene a public hearing to receive public comment for the 2022 labor negotiations. My apologies. Again, Madam Secretary, have we received any requests to speak, or is there anyone present who wishes to comment regarding this topic?
No, ma'am, I see no hands up.
Okay.
Move approval.
First, let me gavel out. Okay, since there are no more comments, I will declare the public hearing closed. Now, Trustee Jenkins.
Move approval.
Thank you. Trustee Withrow. Great. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Student Trustee Hogan?
Yes.
Student Trustee Cooper?
Yes.
Trustee Withrow?
Yes.
Trustee Jenkins?
Yes.
Trustee Handy?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez Ewan?
Yes.
Trustee Delphine Polk?
Yes.
Trustee Nobelia Bellarese?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. 5.1, the CARES HERF allocations, and our presenter is Chief of Staff Royal Roberts.
All right. Good evening. Good evening to everyone in attendance. I would also like to say happy Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. This evening, I'll be going over the CARES and HERF allocation presentation. I will be assisted by Sasha with the slides. Sasha, do you have those?
Bringing them up now. Give me one moment.
Thank you. First, in the way of an agenda, what I'll do is basically give an overview or background of HERF in general, then go into a little more detail with regards to the expenditures, and then move forward with some audit recommendations, basically around where this information can be found by the public. And Sasha, I'm on the next slide, which is the agenda. And then next, the college allocations, and finally end with some closing information. So with that, we'll move to the next slide. Some of this may be a recap, but for others, it may be new information. But basically, what is HERF? The background basically is where Congress has authorized 3 rounds of federal relief funding in 3 phases of the Higher Education Emergency Relief Fund, or HERF. This is to prevent, prepare for, and respond to COVID-19. As you'll see in the presentation, the dates of the different allocations, there was HERF 1, the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act, also known as CARES. There was HERF 2, the Coronavirus Response and Relief Supplemental Appropriations Act, and then finally HERF 3, which is the American Rescue Plan. I'll discuss kind of the details and kind of the difference and distinctions between the 3 of these. As we move to the next slide, I want to mention that during this presentation, I'll be referring to each of these as HERF 1, HERF 2, or HERF 3, rather than move back and forth between HERF and CARES. So as we see with HERF 1, there was a strong emphasis for direct support to students. Specifically, no less than 50% of the funds received under Section 18004A1 was to provide emergency financial aid grants to students. This is very important, and I'm very grateful to the college presidents for seeing that this was adhered to. There was an institutional portion awarded to cover costs associated with significant changes to the delivery of instruction due to coronavirus. So as you all know, we moved swiftly to online, and great job to our instructors that were able to do this. And then finally, the additional emergency financial aid grants, again, to students with certain limitations. So this kind of gives an overview of HERF 1. As we move into the next slide, which is HERF 2, we can see some slight or subtle differences. As was mentioned in slide 3, this happened on January 14th, 2021. The announcement of $22.7 billion available to higher education institutions to ensure learning continues for students during the COVID-19 pandemic. And we see that unlike HERF 1, HERF 2 actually allowed for additional expenditures. Those included, but may not be limited to, defraying expenses associated with coronavirus, lost revenue, reimbursement for expenses already incurred, technology costs associated with the transition to distance education, faculty and staff trainings, as well as payroll. Next, we moved to HERF 3. HERF 3, also known as the American Rescue Plan, appropriated approximately $39.6 billion for the Higher Education Emergency Relief Fund. Again, this represented the 3rd stream of funding that was appropriated to prevent, prepare for, and respond to coronavirus. And while HERF 3 was structured similarly to HERF 2, there were some important differences. If you all remember, this is post our vaccine coming out, which came out late 2020. So we see that HERF 3 also allowed for expenses for testing, prevention, reducing barriers to vaccination, and supporting students. But you'll also notice if we move to the next slide, and I think we're on slide 7 now. HERF 3 also outlined ineligible expenses. Those ineligible expenses, contractors, pre-employment recruiting, marketing, endowments, capital outlays, senior administrator or executive salaries, benefits, bonuses. And then there's the religious worship, instruction, proselytization, as well as equipment or supplies used for religious worship, instruction, or proselytization. And finally, construction or purchase of real property. So those are guidelines as to what would be ineligible for HERF 3. Now, as we move to the important updates, one of the most important updates is as of the passing of HERF 3 on March 11 of 2021, all remaining HERF funds, so that would be funds from HERF 1 and HERF 2, if they had been unspent, regardless of their distributing programs, were compiled and should be awarded under HERF 3 rules. So what this means is for whatever funds that had not been finished spending, those funds were now compiled under HERF 3 rules, which, as I walked through the previous slides, gave more flexibility than the prior two HERF funding streams. Also, the HERF deadlines were extended to fiscal year 22-23. So now we move into some of the things that we were able to do with the funding that was received. And I want to just note that this is one-time funding, so it's not like we can count on this, year after year. So we had to do things that were really going to impact how we were able to come back as a district. Direct student aid. Again, this is emergency financial aid, reimbursements, cancellation of student debt, bridge grants, and completion grants, personal protective equipment, stipends for class conversions, campus-wide cleanings, which is ongoing, air systems and filters. Should have put another bullet point there for the flushing of water systems for stagnant water that had been throughout the colleges. Student support and supplies in the way of software, hardware, hotspots, COVID testing, COVID screening, vaccinations, and increasing safety and operations district-wide and on all the campuses. Now, keep in mind, this may not be an exhaustive list. There may be other things. And again, this will not be the last HERF spending report that we'll have at a board meeting. As we move to the next slide, this is a snapshot, and I want to give a shout out to Director Mark Johnson and his team for the updated website. But this is showing where information regarding CARES and HERF reports can be found on our website. Now, if you look at the very top banner, you'll see it says Home, then Finance and Administration, CARES and HERF's reports. And the presidents and their teams, along with Mark Johnson and his team, have to continually update this information as required by the reporting schedule. So this is where information that is more detailed can be located. So the old adage, teach someone to fish. Here you can go and find the information if you have very detailed or specific questions. And keep in mind, there is a short lag between when it's reported to the Department of Education and when it's updated on the site. Here are the numbers from finance. I will, just briefly walk through the numbers, but really what we want to look at is the total revenue. And that's over time, and that's 14,366,426. And this is for Berkeley City College. And this is the total amount we see from HERF 1, 2, and 3. And as I move through the total slide, you'll see that not all of this money is used directly by Berkeley, because the colleges came together for return to campus, things that had to happen district-wide. And that'll be reflected in a slide a little bit later in the presentation. Next, we see Laney College. As everyone knows, Laney is the largest college in the district, and they received $27,208,358. Next, we will move on to Merritt College, and we see they received $13,155,558. And again, that's all combined. And then finally, last but definitely not least, we see College of Alameda. And we see College of Alameda at $9,699,851. And next, we move to the slide that I was mentioning earlier, the second to last slide that I was mentioning. This gives a combined, and what you'll also see, which did not have its own dedicated slide, the district did receive funding during HERF 1, but not the others. The others went directly to the colleges. Now, when you see the total, if you go all the way to the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see the total as $65,067,250. Now, before we don't go to the next slide yet, Sasha. Before I go to the next slide, I want to mention that the deadline for us to submit information to the board was Friday evening. However, that same Friday night was a reporting deadline for all of the colleges nationwide to report their spending to the federal government. So that was from January, and you can go to the next slide now, Sasha, thank you. So what we were able to do is update this with some actual numbers to give some additional context. However, this information wasn't available at the time where we had to publish the board agenda per the Brown Act requirement. So this will be available to everyone, but if you don't see it in the, in your board packet, this is the reason why, the last two slides. Can you go one before that? Thanks. So again, as I just mentioned, on May 6th, this was the deadline for submitting HERF annual performance report. This is a nationwide deadline covering activity funded between January 1, 2021 through December 31st, 2021. The next slide will contain actual numbers as well. Now I want to just note that the tables that I presented and the one that will be in the next slide, it does not include the minority serving institutions funds. And this is additional funds that I believe all of the colleges qualified for. And it does not, neither does it contain the encumbrances. So for those of you, encumbrances are the money that is earmarked for something, but it hasn't necessarily been spent yet. The next slide will go into the money that has actually been spent. So with that, Sasha, you can move to the next slide. So as we move, here are the district combined actuals. And, I know this is, it's small, but the numbers, if you see the total revenue column, it will match what was on the previous slide, which gave the totals for each of the colleges, as well as the grand total. But if you look below that, you'll see the total return to campus expenses. You'll see a breakdown of return to campus expenses for the various colleges. You will see the total expenses as of May 8th, 2022, as well as the remaining balances. And then finally, the last row on the bottom, you will see the overall percentage of spent by the district and the colleges. And again, as I mentioned, this does not include current encumbrances. So with that, we can, I just want to thank everyone for their time and all of the individuals who helped put this together, because while I'm presenting, there are many hands that actually did the work to make this happen. So with that, I would like to thank everyone, and I'll be happy to answer any questions if I'm able to.
Thank you, Chief Roberts. Sasha, do we have any questions from the trustees? I can't tell. So you're going to need to let me know, or somebody will need to let me know.
No, ma'am, I do not see any hands raised.
Oh, Trustee Jenkins, my apologies. I'm going to ask a few questions, so go for it.
Thanks, Chief of Staff. Under HERF 1, were we able to reach the mandatory 50% that we're supposed to spend on students?
I see the presidents all shaking their head yes. That's always a good sign.
I'm very happy about that. That ends my questions.
Thank you, Trustee Jenkins.
That's an excellent question and excellent news. Just a couple questions. So on that very last slide where we showed the current expenses. We're at 65%, and that is without the encumbrances. So with the encumbrances, are we at 100%? And I know that we have until the fiscal year 23, right? Where are, and I don't know if you know, so if you don't know, you could always get back to us.
I don't know specifically, but I know we are not at 100%. Okay. And there are a number of reasons for that. But one specific reason is we're still factoring in the return to campus facilities expenses that are eligible for spending, but that we are able to use for that. So that number is likely to grow. There were some expenses that we had planned, or that some uses that we had planned to do. However, they did not fall into where what was eligible. Therefore, we need to reallocate that. So I know we're not at 100%, and I don't want to speculate, but it's more than more than 50.
Okay.
Yes.
And we have updated this on the college sites and on the district sites, right? Her funding.
Well, this information was new as of Friday night. So, you know, I don't want to speak, not quite yet, but it will be. They had until Friday at midnight to turn it in. So it will be up soon, very soon.
Okay. And then just one last question. I know that as we were spending these funds, there was a bit of controversy in terms of some of the funds coming from the colleges and being spent by the district. And I think you did a really good job in collaboration with the presidents, right, to ensure that those funds dealt with what was wrong at the institutions, the things that needed to be fixed. And so could either the presidents or you, Chief Roberts, just speak more about that? Because I think there was a little lack of clarity or misunderstanding in terms of the funds kind of garnered from the district. But in essence, what I'm hearing from you and what I've heard from you all too, is that those funds were used to fix the facilities at the district's colleges.
That's absolutely right. And what I'll also do is give more concrete example. When we looked at the reimbursement to students for the student debt that students had incurred when the COVID onset first occurred, and they were getting refunds. We erased the student debt during the allowable time. President Garcia as well as others formed a subcommittee to kind of look at what those numbers were and how it was distributed, through the different colleges. And it was a collaborative process that also had to take place with, again, the air filters, the water flushing. So we had to come together to look at that, but also using the budget allocation model with soon to be resource allocation model, we were able to kind of have a basis to do that. But I'll also defer to the presidents if they have any additional information as well.
Sure. I think in addition to what Chief Roberts has just shared, the distribution allocation for the facilities, because DGS is the central office that provides a level of support that has custodial, engineering, and security and safety. But for the facilities related items, there's a different formula related to square footage. And so the best example is it takes a different level of resources to support Laney College campus and their square footage versus Berkeley City College. So there were, in some cases, our original BAM budget allocation model was used in some program areas, but really it was the square footage related to facilities. Hopefully that helps answer the different levels there.
Great, thank you. Thank you. Any other questions from any of my trustees virtually? All right, I think we're good.
Thank you,
all.
President Reese.
Thank you. All right, let's move on to the consent calendar. May I have a motion for consent, please?
So moved.
Thank you, trustee Withrow.
Second.
Thank you, trustee Jenkins. Discussion, roll call.
Student trustee Hogan?
I'm sorry, the discussion question went really fast. I didn't have a chance to reply, but I'd like to discuss.
You'd like to discuss what, student trustee Cooper?
Item 6.1.
6.1.
That's
So
what we're on?
6.1, we are on the consent calendar. Right, that's where we are right now. So we are on the consent calendar, and consent calendar items are taken in lump sum. So what we are doing at this moment is we just passed a motion, and so we are doing roll call for the consent calendar, which are all the items under consent in the different areas.
6.1, right?
Well, it's
6 and beyond.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes. So I understand correctly. This is where I'd like to take your invitation to discuss.
Okay. Yes.
So I just wanted to express that I am against the practice of approving of all consent items in one go. I'm gonna vote to recommend against this. And I'd like to encourage us to appreciate that one aspect of the importance of this meeting and Brown Act, well, we are given this leeway to do that. The spirit of what we're here to do in large part is to provide adequate opportunity for the public to take part in these issues, to come to better understand them. Many of them are not able to attend our specific times that we hold these meetings. And I feel that when we, as far as I'm concerned, cut corners and speed through this entire process by just lumping it all into one thing that we vote together on all at once, we're depriving the public of the opportunity to observe and better understand each of these items individually and what work we're doing here and the importance of it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, student trustee Cooper. Right, roll call.
Student trustee Hogan?
Yes.
Student trustee Cooper?
No.
Trustee Withrow?
Yes.
Trustee Jenkins?
Yes.
Trustee Handy?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez Ewan?
Yes.
Trustee Bonilla? Oh, absent. Trustee Delphine Polk?
Yes.
Trustee Napolia Bellaris?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. We have no action items under 11. Let's move on to reports. Trustee Withrow.
Pass.
Okay. Trustee Jenkins.
Thank you. I want to thank Coach Bean from Laney College for inviting us to Life After Athletics. It was a conversation for student athletes and giving them a chance to look at what it's like to prepare for after athletics. And it was for underrepresented youth to access sports and technology opportunities. So I really enjoyed being at Laney College and being there. The Bill Riley Golf Tournament, the foundation's upcoming Swing for Success spring golf tournament and benefit is set to take place Monday, May 23rd at the beautiful private Sequoia Country Club, starting at 11 a.m. The foundation is still looking for corporate and whole sponsors, and there's still room for foursomes and individual players. All players receive a hearty gift bag, lunch, and a ticket to attend the closing awards ceremony. Events proceeds will support scholarships to fund students of Peralta Community College. To get more information, visit peraltafoundation.org. Office hours. Trustee Delphine Polk and I will be holding office hours. Please check our Twitter handles because we are the Millennial Caucus for more information. Kevin Jenkins, OAK, and Deanna Delphine Polk for more information, and that will be somewhere near the 25th of this month. And congratulations to all the students that are graduating. I know it's a very special time. Please enjoy it. It goes by fast. I was at Laney 20 years ago, and it doesn't seem like it was 20 years ago. And that's what I was telling the students at the Life After Athletics, and they didn't believe I was over the age of 20. So enjoy it and congratulations.
Thank you. Let's move on to Trustee Handy.
Hi, everyone. Yes, Kevin does have a very youthful look. I really want to give a shout out to Coach Bean for his efforts to bring the presentation to the students of Life After Athletics. I sat in at one session and there were some other people from Peralta's publicity, photographers have been, we looked at each other and said, oh my God, we're in the wrong business because in the session that I sat in, they ran a game of the Warriors, I believe, with a Maryland team. And they kept shouting out to the students who made the pass, where did they make it from, and all of that. And he was entering the data. And then when they saw how this data is used for the coaches to make their decisions while things were happening in real time, and that they actually kind of knew what was going on. And then he broke it down to how this is coding, and he broke it down to programming, and he really grasped the students' attention. And the best part about it is that he had actually, I believe this particular person had attended Peralta Colleges and was I think he was the 5th person on the app that the NBA uses and that also our teams use at Peralta. So there was really, it was an incredible piece. And I understand that there were other sessions going on in the Genius Project and quite a few other people were there. It was wonderful to see a room jam-packed with student athletes, male and female, and their excitement. So I really have to get a shout out to Coach Bean for going above and beyond to make sure that their students do have a great life after athletics or at the same time while they're in it. And some of the courses that are necessary are actually going to be offered to our students, which is also really incredible. The second thing I wanted to highlight was our trip to the Community College League of California. And I was delighted to see student trustee Hogan was there. I missed Sasha. I kept looking for her, but I never got a chance because we were on different times. But one of the things that was so incredible, Trustee Hogan's and I met a young woman named Amber one evening, and she told us that she was going to be presenting, and she gave us her story. She was a teen mom. She said she came from a family in Kentucky or somewhere, and how she had made her way up. Now she's working for the college. And what they've created is a family resource center for parents. And when you look at the amount of students that are actually parents, this is something that they have outside funding and it's right there on campus. And it's where they will follow a student from the moment they enroll in their program, and they are able to see when things get in the way. And they talked about a student who almost dropped out because she had one child and she was pregnant and she didn't think she was going to be able to complete her nursing program. But because there was a family resource center and she was part of it, she talked to them about it. And they were able to do all of these things to help to get her settled so that she could finish her degree. And then later, she found that she was possibly not going to be able to get her license because of a misdemeanor that she had not put on the form. But because she felt confident coming back to the resource center and talking to her advisors, they were able to give a supplemental document and she ended up getting her license. And this is when you talk about over a period of years, they even have raised funding to have a faculty member that can staff just the children of the students who work during the day and have classes at night. But I just want to give you these real quick figures. So when they look at the success of students who successfully completed their coursework for a given semester, those who came to the Family Resource Center, 88% of them completed. And those are student parents who are enrolled with the program. For student parents who do not use it, for students who do not use it, it was 78%. And for all students overall, the completion rate was 73%. So it shows that it really does make a difference when you have something like that. And how they did it, the funding they got, all of that is going to be on CCLC's website. And I think it's something that we should look at. And then another college talked about how they looked at their low enrollment and they called every single student and asked them why, every single missing student, asked them why they didn't come back, if there was any problem, they could need something. And overwhelmingly, some of the students came into tears. They were so grateful that someone checked on them and they actually got them to come back, because the students are out there lost. You know, it's a challenging time for everyone, but just someone making a call. And I believe Merritt College did the similar type of thing, and maybe some of our others did it, but there was a lot of information. So even though you didn't attend the conference, you can go back and get it's on the CCLC website. And there was also Luke Woods gave a presentation on equity. So I think there's a lot of things that you can look at, even though you weren't able to attend. So that's my contribution. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Handy. Trustee Gonzalez-Yuen?
I'm going to pass tonight. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. And Vice President Delphine Book?
Sure, I'll keep it brief because we do have a lot of announcements which are coming up. As Trustee Jenkins said, we are going to be having in-person office hours sometime in a couple of weeks. We will be posting that on our Twitter handles. And speaking of Twitter, I really appreciate everybody who wrote in. I posted on my Twitter account a couple of days ago that I'm always open to folks writing in and letting me know what your thoughts are. So I really appreciate everybody who took advantage of that, and keep them coming. I do read every email. And so if you see a response from me, it's probably going to be at 2 a.m. because I'm a night owl, but I will read and respond to each email that I receive. So thank you so much for that. And then lastly, thank you, Dr. Angelica Garcia. It's really great. One of the perks of working at the mayor's office is to be able to be in community with BCC students, faculty, and staff on such a regular basis, as in we all go to the same coffee shops. So it's really nice to be in community with our folks there. And so I really appreciate all the work that you're doing to really incorporate BCC into the City of Berkeley family. So we're really excited about our new project coming up on Novian Center. I understand that we're going to have a presentation to the mayor's office very soon about that. So I'm really excited to have that happen. That's it for me. Thank you.
Great. Happy AAPI month. Happy graduation in 2 weeks. Happy almost finals. And when we see you all again on Tuesday in 2 weeks, we will be in the midst of finals. Just remember, as Dr. Garcia had said, you got this, you know this stuff. Trust that you've prepared, get some sleep, and try not to overstress your body and your mind. I'm saying that not from experience because I know I did it. all the time. Never slept for a week. Anyhow, I will go to you for reports, Vice President Delphine Polk.
We both have that in common, President Reese. Great, so let's do announcements. So enrollment is now open for summer and fall 2022 classes. Visit peralta.edu to apply or enroll. Tomorrow, College of Alameda is hosting online forums to get to know the finalists for the Vice President of Instruction position. For more information, visit the Peralta website. Also tomorrow, May 11th, the BCC Umoja Rite of Passage 2022, I think I said that right, virtual commencement ceremony takes place via Zoom from 12:15 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. Visit the Peralta website, events across the district sections for details. The bond program is hosting a virtual matchmaking session for local businesses on May 17th and 18th. Interested community members should register at build.peralta.edu. 14th annual African and African American graduation, titled A Call to Action, Africans Unite, will take place at Merritt College on Saturday, May 21st, 2022 at 11 a.m. A virtual program will air on Peralta's YouTube channel that evening at 5:30. The tenure and emeritus reception will be held on May 24th from 2 to 4 p.m. before the Board of Trustees meeting. The reception will be in person at the district headquarters, outdoors in the parking area, and refreshments will be served. We look forward to seeing you all in person for this celebration on May 24th. Graduation is rapidly approaching, as everybody is aware. The colleges are offering both in-person celebrations and virtual ceremonies via YouTube. The ceremonies and celebrations will be taking place on May 25th through May 27th. Please visit the Peralta website for details. Save the date. The Peralta Y Raíces Latinx graduation will be taking place on Saturday, May 28th. I will definitely be there, and I hope that a lot of you will be as well. And then lastly, the next Board of Trustees meeting will be held on Tuesday, May 24th.
Wasn't even on for that. Okay.
President Reese, have you adjourned the meeting?
Thanks, Sasha. Great slide movement. Great.
I think she may have been muted and she adjourned the meeting. So since they're all standing up.
President Reese,
I didn't hear her gavel out the meeting.
I am so sorry. Let us adjourn. Have a wonderful.
Oh, one moment. Trustee Cooper has a report they would like to give out.
I'm sorry. Say that again.
Trustee Cooper would like a report to give out.
I think you skipped Trustee Hogan's as well.
Yes, I just saw the message.
Absolutely right. Student Trustee Hogan, do you have a report? Student Trustee Hogan, are you still on? Okay. Student Trustee Cooper.
Hello.
Hi there. Sorry about that.
Oh, it's okay. Here we go. Hello. As for my report for the last few weeks, the highlight has been the numerous emails I've been receiving from faculty and students alike, sharing much of the same things we heard from public comments tonight, calling for an end to class cuts and calling for my solidarity on the matter. I've been working on responding to them one by one to clarify a few difficult realities. For one, as much as it breaks my heart in each case that class cuts will always be a part of the college reality, but the important question is which classes, why, when, how much is being cut? Were students given an adequate opportunity to take part in the planning, then provide their feedback? And most importantly, was their feedback given reasonable consideration? Secondly, I've been advising them that if they were not given these opportunities and consideration, that this is a matter of a violation of their 9+1 rights, Title V, Section 51023.7, and that the only real recourse is either legal action through the courts or civil action through the community organizing and demonstrating. So it is my hopes that despite the unreasonably inequitable labor involved, my peers will take the time to look deeper into these issues and study up on how they can bring about real change. To quote the great Alice Walker, the most common way that people give up their power is by believing that they don't have it. Thank you all so much for your time tonight.
Thank you for that, Student Trustee Cooper. Good night, everyone. And now we will formally adjourn.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Good night.